Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching today. I've got some new stuff to try, one of which has taken 2 weeks to get here. Miss Natasha Denona finally showed up. I was kind of curious about this I Need a Warm palette. Now, I have not made it a secret that warm eyeshadow tones are not what I generally prefer, but when I saw this, I was like, you know what? That doesn't really look that warm. It's this portion right here that is warm, because if you would cover like these guys up, the rest of it looks very neutral. And these warm tones in through here aren't so warm that it's overwhelming. That has me really excited. I don't have a huge collection of Natasha Denona eyeshadows, mainly because a lot of the color stories up until the last maybe year or so had been outside of my comfort zone. The only one that was released that I was like, I should probably pick that up was the Glam. But I'm gonna pull out all of my palettes and we'll take a look at them side by side. Here's the new I Need a Warm, and this is the Golden palette. And if you're looking at them together, they do share some of those neutrally brown shades, but I feel like there is more neutral to this, and this really does have that golden sort of yellow tone to it. By side, I think they're different enough that if you like warm tones, you might appreciate having this, even though there are goldeny warm tones in the Golden palette. The warm compared to the I Need a Nude. And if you're looking at these, I feel like this has more of a cool silver lean to it. There are some warmish, kind of pinky, peachy tones in here, but you're getting a very different experience. If you like cool tones, I would recommend the I Need a Nude. If you like warm tones, the I Need a Warm. Here is the warm next to the Glam palette. I'm not seeing a ton of similarities. There might be a couple of shades that are similar here, but I feel like these all have different enough vibes that it's not so. I feel like even though I have 4 neutral Natasha Denona palettes, they all do something different. Will there be some potential crossovers? Perhaps. Will there be some shades that are very similar from one to the other, even though they may not be identical? Maybe. But I feel like this is the sort of warm palette that works for me with my fair skin. It's not too orangey, it's not too toasty or terracotta-y, and on top of that, it's desaturated. The reason I never picked up the bronze palette from Natasha Denona was because it was simply too saturated. All the colors were really deep and intense, and on top of that, really leaned very toasty, very terracotta, very, very warm. And I need something with my fair skin that's not gonna look like I stamped eyeshadow on my eyelids, and I'm so excited to dig into this today. So let me grab some brushes and let's get going. I'm going to start with this shade here called Mellow, and I'm going to put that in kind of like the crease of my eye. I don't have any sort of eyeshadow primer on today. You know me and an eyeshadow primer. We're not always made to go together hand in hand. I know that there are some new formulas in here, and I'm very curious to see what those are like. But let's just get started with a base. I'm going to take that same shade on a pencil brush, and I'm just going to run it right here underneath the lower lash line. I'm going to dip into this shade right here called Soft Spot. This looks like a pretty neutral leaning brown. I don't want to get too dark or too heavy today, so this is going to be a much lighter look, hopefully. I'm going to add a little bit of that same shade and Soft Spot down here to the lower lash line, and take a larger brush and buff it out. I'm going to dip into this shade here in Snug. This is one of those new formulas, and oh, it's so pretty. And I'm just going to tap this like right over the top. Oh, she's so pretty and so foiled. I'm going to pick up this shade here in Homey on a little teeny tiny brush. This one, by the way, is from What's Up Beauty. It's the R111. And I'm just going to put this right here. Oh, wow. So metallic. So beautiful. I like the way this turned out. Let me throw on some liner, and I'll come back to throw on the new Charlotte Tilbury Exagger-Eyes mascara. Time for the new Exagger-eyes mascara from Charlotte Tilbury. This is supposed to be smudge proof, flake proof, sweat proof, and clump proof. And I'm always like, well, I will be the judge of that. But I feel like this is going to really offer something that not only is it going to give volume, the clump free and volume, as well as holding a curl. I feel like that's a lot of things to really ask of a mascara, but let's see how she does. Let's just start out with one eye. This is glass, by the way. Pretty heavy duty. The wand is curled, but it also is one of those kind of more wire brushes and not so much of the silicone molded brushes. Been trying some new mascaras recently, and I feel like there are some that are certainly a little bit more exciting than others. I already got mascara. Ugh, where I don't want it. Well, that was bound to happen with a big brush like this. All right, as I'm looking at this, I feel like I did get a lot of mascara on my lid. I always have that problem, but I feel like sometimes brushes like this with my small eyes don't always pair well. Some days I'm better at making sure I keep the mascara off my lid, but what I really should do is just get like a mascara guard, and at that point, you know, hold it there and like really pile on the mascara. I do feel like my lashes do look more voluminous. I don't know about the curl portion. I curled them before I started adding this, and I feel like they're falling a little bit. But I feel like they look pretty good. Now remember, I don't have really long luscious lashes. Mine are short, mine are straight, mine slightly point downwards. And there's also some weird gaps in the way that my lashes grow, kind of some this way, some that way, and it'll leave a natural gap in the middle. I'm gonna throw some on the other side and we'll see how it turns out. I feel like I'm gonna have to quit with the eyelashes because I feel like I'm at the point now where if I had continued to build while the mascara was still wet, I think it would have done okay, but I'm definitely at the point now where I've got a little bit of clumpage, and I don't like that. Is that even a word, clumpage? It's clumping, and I am trying to make sure that I don't have too much of that going on. Overall, I feel like this mascara definitely brings some volume. Is it the most voluminous mascara I own? Probably not. I still feel like Monsieur Big might do just a little bit better than this, but it could be that I am used to the formula as well as the applicator. So this having that slight curve to it always throws me for a loop. I always struggle because I feel like that shape of wand doesn't really suit my eye shape, and that's why I get mascara everywhere. It's very rare that I could have a curved wand and not get it everywhere. I think the only one that I have that's like that is the Lisa Eldridge, and I don't understand the magic behind that, but that's what I'll say. This actually is really nice. I will be excited to see what it's like in about 3 weeks after I've had it for a while and the formula has changed just a little bit, as formulas do. A couple weeks back, I picked up the Persona Dream Stick in the shade Georgia, and I was really curious because I like the formula so much, what their bronzer and contour shade in Mojave would be like. So decided, let's see what that's like. Ooh. Oh yeah, this is nice. Let me grab a brush and we'll throw some of this on. I wonder if this would be better to blend with my fingers. Oh, that's really nice actually. I think this is a really pretty contour bronzer sort of mix. It's not as cool as the new one from Dior that I have, but it's also not really as toasty as some of the other bronzer sticks that I have. I feel like this does a nice bronzing. I know that some people are like, I want a contour and I want a bronzer and they will not be the same. And I'm the sort of person that's like, can I use something in a multitasking way? Yes, sign me up. So I'm gonna finish my cheeks. We'll come back for some lip products because I got a couple of new lippies to share with you. If you're curious about what I'm wearing on the rest of my face, I'll link everything for you in the description box down below. Just remember, those are affiliate links. You can use them or not. But guess what I picked up? Some of the Dolly lipsticks. These are from Dolly Beauty, as in Dolly Parton. Of course, it's rhinestoned. There's a little butterfly next to Dolly's signature. I think it's really cute. And I like that when you press the button on the top, this comes shooting out the bottom. I picked up 2 of the 4 shades that there are. I'm not going to push this one in because when it came, it was fully in there the way it was supposed to be, but the mechanism in the cap doesn't work. And so I tried it in the other cap. Guess what? Works perfectly. I think this cap right here is defective, so I'm not going to put it in all the way, but let me show you the 2 shades that I picked up. This one right here is called Rosebud. There's definitely a slight fragrance to this. It's not sweet, it's more floral. The formula feels really nice. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't really know what to expect. These lipsticks are $20. I kind of see why they're $20 once I feel the component. They're very lightweight. I do like the rhinestones, I'm not gonna lie. That does kind of make me like a little bit happy, like in a little kid sort of giddy way. I also like this aspect of it. This lipstick feels creamy, comfortable. It has a nice slip to it, not in a greasy sort of traveling outside of my lips way, but it feels creamy and nourishing. I don't know what it wears like. The other shade I picked up is the shade Jolene Red. And so here they are. Here's Jolene Red, and this is Rosebud. Rosebud definitely feels like a easy, everyday, throw it on, run out the door sort of lipstick. I think it's really pretty, but I don't know that this cooler pink is working as well with the warm tones on the face. So let's switch to the red. I'm not really sure I like the scent of the lipsticks. I know that Dolly also has a fragrance line, but I don't know if this is like matching up with one of the lipsticks, but I feel like these two are going to be really like, Rosebud's going to be easy to wear, and this Jolene Red, since I love a red lipstick, I feel like it also works really well with the warm shades I have going on my skin with the peachy blush and the warm eyeshadows. I feel like it works pretty well. Here are all the swatches. This first one here is Soft Spot, Fancy, Mellow, Phenomena, Ripe. Second row is Elm, Snug, Vim, Push, and Fervor. And the bottom row is Pep, Homey, Hanker, Dynamism, and Flashover. So these are the shades. Flashover here is one of those cream to powder formulas. I think these two right here, well, these two right here, these really shiny ones, are that new formula. This is a multi-chrome. It goes green, it goes, there it is, green, just a little bit green there. It goes kind of burgundy green and orange. It's not the most multi-chrome of multi-chromes. You're definitely going to get a better multi-chrome if you're going with an indie brand. Sydney Grace makes some beautiful ones. Cleona makes some beautiful ones. There's some really, really lovely multi-chromes out there. But if you're not wanting to buy something without seeing it or swatching it first, this does have some aspects to it. It's lovely, multi-chrome wise, but I think the rest of it, I mean, this side over here is very neutral. It's not as warm as I expected. The warmth is coming from these 6 shades over here on this side. Overall, a lovely palette, and I feel like if you tend to love cooler shades, I would go with the I Need a Nude. If you tend to like warmer shades that are desaturated, I feel like this is really, really nice. I like that we have some really like deep shades in through here. And then it doesn't actually, I mean, this is the lightest shade that we have, but we have some range. I like that. I wish there was a lighter matte. This is the lightest matte that we have. And it feels very similar to this one here. This one's just a little bit darker, but this is the one I started with in the crease. I feel like overall it's a really, really lovely palette, and it's going to suit a lot of people. I am not disappointed by picking it up, but remember, I love what I call a Boring Betty eyeshadow palette, which is a palette that has, you know, kind of warm brown shades to it, or neutrally brown shades to it. Things that you could throw on easily and wear to the office or wear to dinner or a special event. I'm not a colorful eyeshadow sort of person, so I'm not looking for purples and greens and pinks. It's very rare that I reach for shades like that. Something like this is going to be right at home in my eyeshadow collection, and I already know that I like this formula, so I think this is a perfect addition. Thank you so much for watching today. Here's where I want to know, have you picked any of these products up? Were you like, oh yes, give me a sparkly Dolly lipstick. That new Charlotte Tilbury is very interesting. Or I'm all about warm eyeshadow. I think that I need a warm palette. I don't really understand the name, but I like the packaging. I like everything about it. I feel like it's definitely worth the price that I paid for it. Now, I wish it arrived a little sooner. Ordered it the day before it was open to anybody to order on the Natasha Denona website. I think everybody was able to order it on the 22nd. I ordered it on the 21st because I had a, you know, insiders order first. And then it didn't arrive for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That was a little, you know, Could have driven to my local Sephora an hour away and picked one up, you know, on the 25th. But that's neither here nor there. She's lovely, glad to have her. Definitely will get a lot of use in my collection. I find that I'm really leaning on my Natasha Denona palettes. I have 4 of these now, and I don't know. I feel like there's been a real shift. I remember when there were a lot of more like sunset or sunrise eyeshadow palettes from Natasha Denona, or the Love palette that was pink and purple, or the Yucca palette that was kind of green and gold. I feel like we're getting outside of some of those more colorful stories. And if you look at the glam, the I Need a Nude, the golden, and the I Need a Warm, we're definitely in Boring Betty territory. Now, I love that, but if you are somebody who loves bright, colorful things, you're not getting it with these as much. The formulas are impeccable. I really, really like it, but I'm really intrigued that we're making that shift from more colorful color stories to things that are very much, and maybe it's just they sell better than other things. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you again soon.